Welcome to the 1-0 podcast. I'm your host, Dom Skeen, along with Don Dishes as my co-host. Welcome in, my friend. How are you guys doing today?
Hey, hope everybody's doing well. I'm doing great, Dom. How you feeling?
Doing well. I mean, after the Mariners last night, right, gave us the feel-good game maybe of the year. Mariners-Dodgers, game 1, 7-6. And, I mean, you literally got all the offense you've been missing all year. If you had games like last night's game all year, you literally wouldn't have, 80 to 90% of the seeming problems that the ball club has right now.
Right. I agree. I think we, answering back fast is always what you want to do. Seeing that we went down early, 1-0 and just getting that back, really quickly. You don't want to be in a big deficit with any team, but definitely not a dominant team like the Dodgers. So, yeah, we got the bats clicking. We saw production. We saw production from cats who've been dormant and production from cats fresh back. So it was, the fight was in us. We saw the fight inside of us.
Absolutely. And that's something that has been talked about a lot recently with the Mariners is the way it looks to watch the games. Something that I didn't even really put in our notes, but I have to kind of start out with this because I think this sets the stage. Did you, Don, see the Jeff Passan interview on Seattle Sports yesterday morning? Probably not.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't see that.
This didn't make the waves the way that I maybe thought it would around some of the Mariners internet community. The Twitter community, kind of got big on there. The Instagram community, it really hasn't noticed this one yet. But Jeff Passan went on Seattle Sports yesterday, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of the stuff he said. But basically, he said he went as far as to discuss the Mariners firing Dan Wilson. He went as far as to discuss the Mariners trading George. I mean, he's talked about the Mariners trading George Kirby for a couple weeks now. He has been, I'm just going to kind of go on this. So Seattle Sports, get it up here. Yeah, it says Scuff players can change it up. Join Brock and Salk. And, I see this being the beginning of the best run in the history of the franchise. That's the famous quote that he had like in the offseason. And, because he has been a big bullish supporter of the Mariners recently. And coming into this year, he picked them to go up against the Dodgers in the World Series. So he thinks the Mariners, he thought the Mariners were going to win the AL going into the year, the team they currently have. So did I, so did many other people have the same World Series pick.
Right.
The roster, when you look at the roster, he even says on this program, as of yesterday, there's not a single team in baseball other than there's two teams in baseball that if you take the 180 or so players that they have in their entire, major league, minor league system, right, in their entire organization, that there's only maybe two teams that he would take above the Mariners. He said, for sure, I would take the Dodgers and I would take the Brewers. And that's, you could make an argument for some other teams, maybe the White Sox, maybe some of these other really young, exciting teams. But the Mariners basically are set up as well as all but, 2 of 30 franchises in the MLB. Yet you look at the talent and you look at the team and you watch it and it's like, how is this happening? Like that is, and it's not something where, we're supposed to stay stoic, want to know every pitch. We've been watching every game, so we have an idea of how a team that's this talented ends up with this record. But Don, what have you seen? You are really, as a Mariner, the only true Mariners actor also in the Mariners media space. You see the culture in a way that other people don't. And some people think, the culture, right? The pop culture surrounding the team. But there's also a very important thing when we talk about culture. We talk about the culture in the ball club as well.
Right.
I want to speak on the culture in the clubhouse, the eye test watching this team this year. Why do you think they've underperformed so hard compared to the talent levels?
Right. So I think just pushing it back a little bit, I think he's right about picking the team. I was one of those guys who picked the team, of course, to go up against, the dominant Dodgers, as I like to call them. Our farm team and our main boys are brilliant, and I believe we're one of those 3 teams that are up top. But culturally and just, squad wise, I think that just having the ups and downs that we've had and not really paying attention to what type of leadership we've had, and having the shaky things with JP, and don't know where he's going and things like that, and just trying to juggle the younger guys up and down, and the solidification of certain energies or certain personalities. I think that's a big deal, personally. I think you've got to really give some guys, that love, and you got to give them that time to be where they need to be. And I think our organization kind of just, we play a juggling act like everybody else, but to me, we really juggle cats. We really put you through the ringer. We really throw you up and down. So maybe some stability issues, but yeah, we just really have. I think we do have a leadership issue, but it's there. We have the leadership. I just think it's turbulent inside of the nucleus. Now, I'm not inside, so I don't really know, but that's how I feel about the culture. Now, as far as the team, as far as the bats, as far as the talent, we usually have the names and we usually have the guys, but we definitely have a trend of not hitting situationally. We have a trend of leaving guys on base like all the time, and seeing us get into a flow and seeing us stop that problem and stop that bleeding would be great. We just haven't. But seeing yesterday was awesome. Now, we've seen flashes of it throughout the year. We've seen it before. I'm not going to, turn a blind eye. But yesterday was great to see us against highest caliber team, S-tier Dodger, you know what I mean? Playing all their guys in. Ohtani was there. He showed up. He might not have pitched, but he was batting and he was hitting. So we just really have to get situational. We have to stay hot. We have to stay focused. And I think that links with the culture. If you're turbulent inside, it'll be turbulent on the diamond.
Absolutely. Turbulent inside, turbulent on the diamond. And you see it. I mean, just little things where, chemistry, right, in between, you have different players playing infields. I would like to know how many different infields have the Seattle Mariners had, during the 2026 season, because you've had so many different rotating setups of four guys, from one guy at third base, Josh Naylor, pretty consistent at first base. Cole Young, every single game at second base. He's been awesome, in terms of consistency. But that other side of the infield, right? Third base, really a revolving door. I mean, you start out
right.
With, we started the season with Brendan Donovan, right? It's hard.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of how many we've had this year. How many third basemen the Mariners have had this year? I want to see if I can get it, and then we'll go look it up after. But
for sure.
Third baseman and shortstops. Let's see if Don and I if we can put this together. In fact, I'm even gonna. Okay, so let's see if we can count him. Brendan Donovan.
Yeah. Right. God, Donnie be good.
Buddy. So going in order, Brendan Donovan, J.P. Crawford has played there.
Right.
Colt Emerson has played there. Buddy Kennedy. And if let's see if anybody in the chat can beat us to it on any of them. Weston Wilson's been there recently. He's been kind of the everyday guy as of late.
Right.
I'm going to put it in the chat. Who?
Yeah, I don't know who else. I can't think of who else.
Who else has? Okay, Brendan Donovan, J.P. Crawford, Colt Emerson, Buddy Kennedy, Weston Wilson. Let's go through the players. Josh Dillon Moore, that was last year, the end of last year, but it almost feels like this year. It also feels like a long time. I know I'm forgetting someone. How many do you think we're forgetting right now? We've got 5.
I think you did well.
Leo Rivas.
Oh, Leo. Yeah, Leo. Yeah, see, another guy that showed up in that space, played that position well, gets juggled around though,
Totally.
Juggled around.
And I definitely have something to say on that topic that you're talking about, the juggling around and stuff, and the so okay, Donovan, Crawford, Emerson, Kennedy, Wilson, Rivas. Oh, Will Wilson, Weston Wilson, Will Wilson.
Weston Wilson, Will Wilson. That's hard when they got like almost the same name.
Is there another lefty? There might not be another lefty in this mix, because
you'd be the one to get it, not me.
All right. Well, we got these 7.
That's a solid list, and then we can also talk about how they picked up Ace Reese. I mean, I know it's not active, but that's just another piece that plays into the culture and the identity. Like, all right, man, we pushed JP to third, and then we first round drafted, a really dank third base guy.
That's right. All right, and now we're going to go look at the Mariners, see who's played third base officially for the Mariners this season. This is the batting, pitching, and roster and appearances. So, third base. JP, we got.
Yep. There's Leo.
Brendan Donovan, Colt Emerson, Patrick Wisdom. We already forgot about him.
Yeah, I mean I feel bad, but I would have never.
Weston Wilson, we got him. Buddy Kennedy, we got. Maz Mastroboni, we forgot.
Oh, that's sad.
So Wisdom and Mastroboni were the two we forgot.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
But 9 third basemen so far for the Mariners this year. And then shortstop. Let's try and do shortstop real quick. We can already see some of them on the screen right here. JP, Leo, and Colt Emerson. Has anybody else played shortstop? Has Cole Young played once? I'd like to say Cole Young might have played there once.
Maybe. I don't know, though. I can't confirm.
Bliss, I think it was only second base.
Yeah, second base for sure for Bliss.
It's just 4. So Crawford, Emerson, Rivas, Young.
Yeah.
So you've had 4 different shortstops, 9 different third basemen. That really the problem that I was speaking to that it took me a while to get to the point is that when you have this different defense in the infield, it's the chemistry that's so important. It's the organization, guys knowing where to line up in relation to each other and where to make the plays in relation to each other, as well as it's the throws, guys having chemistry on those throws. And just Gino, with Naylor, obviously they were playing together before they came to Seattle last year in Arizona. So it was much easier for them to gel. You've seen the Mariners have this problem before, years prior where, the opening day plan was Jorge Polanco at third base. And then you realize quickly his arm just is not going to fit at that position at all. You'll realize quickly into other seasons that Luis Arias and, Josh Rojas, maybe one of the side of the platoon gets hot. You ride with it for a month. Then neither is hot, and then the defense is still average and you're getting a below average contribution from the spot. Kind of a lot of talk on third base. And are the Mariners going to add third base at the end of the day? Don, do you see a spot possible for a third baseman on this team? Or do you think the Mariners are going to make do for the rest of the season with some combination of Brendan Donovan coming back in the next couple of days, and playing short? After that, right, it's like Weston Wilson, maybe Will Wilson comes back. Is that all you need?
I mean, yeah, I think you have a lot of buttons. You have a lot of buttons to push here, personally. And then I'm a wild boy. Like picking up Ace Reese, like he could play today. In my mind, he could play today. So if you want to do some magic tricks, you know what I'm saying? You just picked up a guy that you could throw into the fire. Of course, you don't believe that, but I do. I believe in a lot of young guys coming up. Yeah,
that's what the Angels do, and that's why they're the worst team in the league. No offense, but
sure. I mean, it's up to subject. It's up to subject because it's player based. I don't think if doing that makes you bad. I think it's who you do it to.
Well, let's say this, right? If he could play today, he would have been much higher than like what do we have, like the 20th pick, the 23rd pick?
Sure, but we're struggling. So
what are you gonna for a playoff contender?
Hey, we've got day one guys that aren't even in the game that are at AAA right now. So it's debatable personally. Like if you're coming into a playoff and you want to win and you have chips, you're gonna think about a chip. Personally, I'm not a coach, so of course there's things that are like against the grain. Oh, this guy get drafted 24th overall. He'll never start a game right now, right? Well, sure, but
he will. He 100% will. It would just be it would be like going to if you had like I say I'm going to give you thousands of dollars to if you enter somebody into this bodybuilding competition and win. You wouldn't enter a guy even if he looks pretty good to you, right? You wouldn't enter him in against a whole nother field of guys that have been training and structured their diet, their workout plan, everything around that for months just for this specific show. Ace Reese just hasn't been trained enough for this specific show yet, right? I wouldn't throw him into this fire. If that was that would just be the best thing ever for the Mariners if we could draft a college hitter and put him in the same month. But
yeah, I hear you, and I understand why you disagree. I just think there is an argument to say that it's possible. You know what I'm saying? Now it could go horribly wrong, or it could gel, it could fit. Seeing that we're juggling 9 guys, I just take your pick. Like, I don't know what to do for third base. It's really hard to understand what we're going to do because we don't even have a hold. Like, JP played third and short yesterday. Really strange, but it happened. Like, I just don't know.
Colt had to come out, so can play. So anyway, here's what I'll say to kind of table this. And I see AB Pokemob squad. 7 renditions of the same player. I get exactly what you're saying. I worry we'll trade for another platoon, which, to you, the word you used to describe pointless. I see exactly what you mean, right? Because if you're not moving the needle right, you don't want to just keep trading an eye for an eye. An eye for an eye makes the whole world go blind. And this is one thing where Jerry Dipoto, used to make a ton of deals with the Mariners organization. Now he's a little more reserved. He makes them at the right times. But this is why I'm cautious to make a trade. And this is also part of the reason that I'm worried you might not get the big trade that you're looking for. Another platoon, well, most bats in the MLB these days, the more the analytics play a role, are going to become another platoon guy, to different teams. So how many guys are there out there, really? And this is the question of the entire episode, is how many players are there out there that actually fit the Seattle Mariners starting lineup, are a real upgrade over those 7 players, and that the Mariners might actually go out and acquire in the next couple days. And that really is the question. What we're going to do now, and shout out to you, Or King. Saw you in the FBT live chat last night. Shout out to everything you're doing over there. And Michael Arroyo looks like potentially our best deadline acquisition, AB Pokemob squad. So I would say, if you do bring up Arroyo and it works out, awesome. If you bring him up and he struggles for a month, it is what it is. But I agree with you. When you have this big pack of players, why not let the guy who's hitting 360 after coming up to AAA, be the one you give a shot to? And now here's the big question, right? Why do you give a shot to these different platoon guys, these same different guys? And really, it's injuries have made the Mariners roster in this spot that it is. But you just want the deadline to hurry up. So do I. But that's exactly what the other teams want too. Everybody wants to know what they have. That's where the leverage comes in. That's why nobody's making deals yet, because the word that I'm going to give you guys, the word of the day, is shrewd. You want to make shrewd decisions when it comes to, coming down to the wire like this. And I'm even going to show you guys what this word means. Shrewd. Smart, astute, and clever in practical matters. Judge a situation well, use it to their own gain. This is what you have to do. You can't just say, okay, even though, yes, we want the deadline to hurry up, and that's what we know too, and we know the other teams do too, we're going to use it against them. So we're going to make shrewd deals. Poor Red Sox get Mead and broken hand. It's, on one hand, you would have liked to see the Mariners grab that player, but on the other hand, he's not going to be playing the rest of the season, most likely. AB Pokemon have a spot for all top 7 prospects on the Major League roster potentially as soon as next year. Don't like the idea of trading them away. Me neither. And neither does Jerry Dipoto, is the good news. This guy's never shown a willingness to trade prospects for anything less than full value. Remember the deals that he got done for Naylor and Suarez last year? Those were outstanding compared to what he was projected to give up. He made those teams panic and say, all right, we'll do it, is what the packages sure seemed like. So, I want to go over to some of the just like the basic rumors and stuff that we got going on, right? What the Padres want for Miller, controllable starting pitching. We know this. George Kirby for Mason Miller. Everybody's talked about this. absolutely. I give it a thumbs up. We gave it a thumbs up last week, did we? Is that right, Don?
Yeah, we did.
Yep. So, trade one of them for a turn like Castillo got us, but that's about it. And I don't think anyone outside Skubal is in that category. I would agree. I don't think you're gonna. I don't think you're gonna see anything like that. I don't think you're gonna see the Mariners get a 4-3 prospect haul back, anything like that. And yeah, no. So Preller's been telling teams that no one in their organization can be off limits if they want to trade for Miller. Now, would it take George Kirby plus, or would it just be George Kirby? Would love to hear your guys' opinion in the comments. Don, what do you think, knowing what you know? Just get the deal done for Mason Miller.
I mean, possibly. To reel it back a little bit and talk about the prospect situation, I mean, Jerry definitely will give up prospects if we're getting what we need, right? Like you talked about shrewd moves for our self-gain. We gave up Ty Pete and Jurangelo. I'm sure I destroyed his name for Brandon Donovan. And that was crazy to me. I love those prospects. I don't know how much, the nucleus love them, but those were 2 ballers and they're still balling. And we threw them away, not to say it like that, but we got rid of them so we could put that piece in line, right? We need a bat, we need dependability, and we need 3B. So we got that in Brandon. So hopefully he can come back healthy. So just to talk about that, he will get rid of prospects if if it's fitting the cause. We could get this done, but what is it really going to look like? It wouldn't be straightforward, right? We couldn't just give him Kirby for him. Like that would never. I don't know if that would work. We'd have to give Brad.
My question.
Right. It would compound with these other things. So we could get it done. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I think that this is why you wait till like the end, right? I think next Monday. This is why we're going to be streaming on next Monday. We're going to start somewhere around, I don't know, definitely if the Mariners make a trade early, we'll start then. But yeah, next Monday, trade deadline stream, we're going to be going wire to wire here.
For sure. And I do want to tap in with homie in the chat. I actually do agree. Yes, we have to wait on the trade deadline, but you also want that to come quicker because guys like Skubal, they're already expensive. They're already popping. And the more he plays, the more his stock goes up. He's sitting on 999 right now. So he's going to hit 1,000 strikeouts, right? Like his benchmarks just keep getting nuts. And these days, just keep coming through. So yeah, your stock just keeps going, right? The game of baseball fluctuates day to day. So just kind of want to chirp in there with the homie in the chat.
I guess Skubal's actually pitching right now.
Yeah. I thought it was 11:30, but yeah, it's about to happen. He's gonna hit that 1,000. He's just gonna look better by the day.
2 strikeouts, 2 hits, and this is a huge.
Oh, he already got it. There it is, then. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah. So this is a huge game as well because obviously Baltimore and getting into the next topic of the right-handed hitters the Mariners can get. They've got Taylor Ward, who right there at the top of that lineup. We want to go look at him for a second. So pull up good old Baseball Savant. And like you say, don't get why we would go after Miller. We need run production. And, Mason Miller doesn't move the needle like people think, right? That my pushback to this, I see exactly what you're saying, is that Mason Miller is the closest thing to a guarantee that you can get in the entire sport of baseball. And when you're looking to improve your team, right, you talk about the bats, right? It's so hard to find a marginal improvement at a bat. What if Mason Miller is just the best improvement that you can make to your team? And it's not really about, perfectly plugging up weaknesses. It's about, the best team. Yeah,
I think that's well said, bro. Well said right there. I like how you said that. That makes perfect sense to me because people were asking for us to basically like flip a lot of players even before last year, right? And we're like, oh, we need bats. And then we proved that our bats can pop with the guys that we have, literally. So you're right. If we can, he's a good guarantee. If the pitching can get that much crazier and we can keep a goose egg up there for, the opposite and our bats can flow, we're good. We're not trash. You know what I'm saying? Guys say we need all this and all that. We're trash. We're 1 or 2 pieces and flow state away from being right where we need to be.
Absolutely. So Taylor Ward right here, you see the poor expected batting average, or 250 really, not the worst. He's
No, not the
249,
worst.
performing right in line with it. So that's actually, uh, a pretty dependable sign. The xWOB up at 347. This is where he stands out. Is that Taylor Ward? He's a guy who doesn't strike out that much. Doesn't swing and miss. The 70th percentile whip rate, the 59th percentile K rate, and then the elite walk stuff. So 98th percentile walk rate at 16.9, and then just doesn't chase outside the zone, doesn't swing and miss, squares the ball up. Not a guy who generates power in a way that not a typical power generating guy. He's only 6'205". He's 32 years old, and the average exit velo, that stuff, the expected slug, not that high. Kevin Hawthorne, good afternoon from Lakeland, Florida.
Hey,
Across the country, appreciate you tapping in. Definitely want to visit Florida more than almost any other state. Very curious. Shout out to you coming all the way across the country. Anyway, with Ward, you get the high walks. You get a guy who doesn't strike out too much, and you get a guy that has some power and who, all things considered, should be a dependable, middle of the road batting average contributor. What do you think of Taylor Ward?
After looking at the stats, yeah, I mean he's right there. Dependable. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for situational show up, right? In my opinion, it might be a weird way to say it, but we're looking for that. We're looking for bat on the ball contact. We're looking for, if we get a guy in a bag and you pull up, that you'll put the ball in play. Period. Like, that's just what we need. And looking at this, looks like he could get that done. And as far as the market goes, he's probably one of the guys that you could getting it done without throwing the baby in the bathwater out, And that's what we need. We're not going to be able to get the crazy bats because it's astronomical to get them right now. But somebody like this guy, he might float through looking at the stats.
Absolutely. He fits the reason that he fits the lineup is, it's just that he walks, he doesn't chase, he'll actually control the zone to some extent. And then, he is a dependable floor in terms of batting average and power.
Right.
That's what the Mariners need. Anybody else who you guys think the Mariners should trade for, put them down in the comments. And what we're going to do, I want to play some
sort of that base running is low, my boy.
Oh yeah. No, this guy, when you are not the top athlete in the world, right? This isn't Elly De La Cruz.
No, definitely not.
You got to specify that skill set, and that's what he does. Yeah, so the outfield defense might not be great. He can DH, and he'll take it. Is what it is. But yeah, we want to kind of rank the options that we go through in this video. So give us some more options down below, because there's so many options out there. To cover every single one, it's like
it's wild goose chase to cover everyone.
I mean, but it's also we want to look at all the possibilities for the Mariners. So it was
realistic though.
In free agency, Fangraphs had like a good they had some free agency. They had this good list of all the free agents where you could kind of figure out who's available. You could just get a big list of them. This is not the same case because it's all players in organizations. They're not free agents, so it could be complete surprises. But Fangraphs, let's go look at what they said yesterday. So Dan Szymborski, great writer over there. So Connolly earlier to the Nationals for Curtis Mead. Worked out poorly for both organizations. Red Sox traded Connolly early right after he gets injured. Curtis Mead gets injured for the rest of the season right after they trade for him. Too bad. Now the Dodgers basically, getting Tarek Skubal they have for Emmett Sheehan, Zahir Hope, Jing-Hsian Ko. I hope I pronounced that correctly. But at the end of the day, it's like these are amazing prospects. This is the trade that the Dodgers really have like 4 or 5 great prospects. It feels like at any time right now. Josue DePaula and Mike Sirota would be the 2 that they don't trade away, but they would get rid of Zahir Hope and Jing-Hsian Ko. So what brief thoughts on this, Don?
Brief thoughts that you're just gonna have to give up so much to get anybody worth your time. You know, you're really gonna have to put up, because like you said, the shrewd moves are all around the board. Nobody's taking less than what they deserve for what they're giving up. So yeah, you're just gonna really have to, like, not a lot of people can match giving up high caliber prospects, that many for one guy. Like, so you see who's in the running, for those high guys like Scoop.
Absolutely. And moving on. So we got the Cubs getting Sandy Alcantara from the Marlins for Kane Kepley, Dominic Reed, and Mason McGuire. Don't know these prospects as well.
Yeah.
The Cubs system, one that they've put some guys away, they've replenished. So they don't. They say real Dominic Reed, Mason McGuire, real prospects, just not at the top of the food chain in this system. Cubs wouldn't give up Jackson Wiggins, who's one of their big pitching prospects. Let's see. The Cubs just need the pitching help at the end of the day. This makes sense. This has been projected kind of since April. So they lost Cade Horton. They had Matt Boyd go down. They had all this stuff going on. So pretty good trade. I don't think we need to comment too much on it, seeing as we don't really know the prospects. But makes sense for the Cubs to go get Sandy, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's an arms race at this point, and Cubs are just stockpiling.
Yeah.
Ford King, you said offered Scooble for Walker, Caballero, and Ray head-to-head categories. My only question, Jordan Walker, right? Because that's Jordan Walker, Tarek Scooble, plus the Caballero and Ray, I think, are pretty okay, especially in a 10-team league, and especially in 10-team categories league. I don't think Ray is somebody that's going to be moving the needle. I don't think Caballero in a 10-team categories. I think you can replace those on waivers. Whereas Scooble and Walker, the two players you can't replace on waivers. So especially if you needed that pitching help, I traded Walker for Joe Ryan last like a week or two ago, which obviously has gone an interesting direction. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's going to be the big money teams, the big market teams acquiring starting pitching, and the Mets here, the Brewers acquiring Freddie Peralta back from the Mets. This is kind of bizarre because you look at this, Freddie Peralta got traded to the Mets this offseason by the Brewers. The Brewers traded Freddie Peralta for prospects just to dump his salary. The Mets extended him, and paid it. The Brewers were being really shrewd here, getting rid of a player, a fan favorite, their ace, that just led him to the best record in baseball to retire. And they trade him to the Mets, get prospects back because they're a small market team being shrewd. Then they're, Fangraphs has them trading back for Peralta at the deadline. That's pretty interesting. This is just a weird move. You don't see, a player getting traded and then traded back to the team mid-season. But I don't know.
Yeah. My thoughts are that they must like the kid. So, if you're gonna send him away and then pull him back, and the idea of it must be that they really like the kid. And of course the Mets struggle at first base, so I see why they're trying to get that solved. But yeah, it's different. It's different. But hey, I guess they got their hand on the needle, you know what I'm saying? That's weird to send him off and bring him right back, but yeah.
It makes sense now.
Yeah. Now the chips are falling. Yeah, it does.
White Sox.
Your boy Devers.
Now, I immediately, the first thing I think of when I see this, I'm like, White Sox really want Devers. Like, they really want to pay that contract, because the White Sox, talk about being a shrewd small market team. These guys do not want to overpromise money. And Devers has a big contract now. The Giants traded for him. They've got the huge contract the Red Sox signed him to now.
Right.
Just for Billy Carlson, I don't honestly think it matters what the White Sox would give, what the Giants would get back. The Giants want to offload the contract. Do the White Sox really want to take that contract on? Devers has hit quite well. It's miserable April. Okay, so 147 WRC plus since the start of May.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know you're a big Devers guy. So do you think my question for you isn't is this a good deal for both sides? It's how possible is it that the White Sox actually want Devers?
Right. That I think that's a great question. And yeah, I acquired the Devers love from you. So yeah, no, he's a dog. I just always wanted to give him a chance.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, it's a big task to take on. And people aren't trying to take on, money debt unless it's, like you said, it's a shrewd move that is gaining you exactly what you need on your squad. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think they want that burden that bad. Not that bad.
No. So that one is just
Yeah.
if they want to do it.
Yeah, a little mock up, solid mock
Uh,
up.
yeah. Now the Cleveland Guardians acquiring JJ Bleday from the Reds and Nathaniel Lowe for Khalil Watson, Jacob Cozart, and Franco Alaman. So the Reds came to Seattle last week, lost a couple games there. About what are they? 10 games out now. They're between 8 and 10 games out, I believe, still. And they um, they move off two of their hottest hitters, and they get a little prospect return. Nothing super major because these are both like DFA players, Bleday and Lowe, right? Guys who used to play for the A's and who played for the Texas, right? For the Rangers. Guys who have moved around to like Bleday with the Marlins and the Nat and Lowe with the Nats last year. So those guys get hot, as kind of like pieces that an MLB team will bring in. Had success in the MLB before, but so a hot team, yeah, might want him, but there's really not much as a building block for the Reds to use. With Bleday going into next year or Lowe going into next year. It's not like they have a lot of club control. They're not. It's not like they're super young still. And even if they're hot hitters, they're more guys that we keep them around. But if we can trade them for young guys who are controllable, that's a shrewd move.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Yeah, I don't know much about these cats, so I can't really put in. But yeah, seeing that they're DFA'd and they're just kind of like platoon cats moving around. Yeah, it's just a bunch of juggling.
Yep. How old is Lowe? I believe he's like young 30s. Is that? That's Josh Lowe. There we go. 31. Yeah. So he's he's 31. He's played 8 seasons. And yeah, the Sackhouse, looks pretty good right now. He does strike out still. Yeah, that's an interesting one. It's like, do the Mariners really bring in Nathaniel Lowe? Which, again, didn't the Mariners have Nathaniel Lowe for like a game at one point? They just like picked him up, threw him in, or was it Nick Solak that we had?
Yeah, I don't know.
Really thought Lowe was gonna be better by now. He shows it once in a while. Yeah, he is a streaky hitter. If you're the Guardians and you get a streaky hitter, veteran like this who can go off in the playoffs, like this is the reason the Guardians keep making it to the playoffs and keep making it to things like the ALCS. Yeah. So Nathaniel Lowe, Mariners. He did not play for the Mariners. It was Nick Solak, I think, that I'm thinking of. And those are two like guys when they were in the Rangers lineup. I would just get those guys mixed up. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
Yeah, yeah, he did play for the Mariners. That's what I was thinking of. But yeah, moving back to this, like Yankees, they got next Tyler Stevenson. So glad we have a first baseman now. Had a rough couple of years. We did, and Naylor. You're not getting the worst outcome from him. I think the stats are still going to end up in the 270s on batting average and stuff. One power surge, late in the season. The weather's hot and the ball's flying. Could be all he needs to get to 20 homers as well. And the stolen bases will be there. So Naylor, at the end of the year, I think you'll look up and be like, "Wow, that was quite the process getting to these stats," but it doesn't look quite as bad as I thought it would. So Yankees. Gonna need a catcher, Tyler Stevenson, and they also get this guy Tyson Lewis from the Reds and Dane Myers all for Anthony Volpe, the prospect who's been ran out of New York basically. Honestly, I don't have too many thoughts on this one. I think it's just kind of a need for need. The Reds already established as sellers in this article, if they're moving off of some players, they're going to move off of Tyler Stevenson too. He's just a guy who, like, they have to move him now, or else they're probably not going to be able to re-sign him. Might end up with nothing for him. So, yeah, shrewd move, but it's not particularly tough for either of these teams to part with these pieces, I don't think.
Yeah, for sure. And the Yankees just got a young catcher, don't they now? So it might not need a trade.
Well, I mean, Ben Rice obviously was, and now he's just like a first base DH. He doesn't.
Ali Sanchez.
Who?
Ali Sanchez. They just got that guy, didn't they? He just hit a home run, like I think a couple games. His first major league home run. They just brought up a catcher. If I'm not mistaken.
I've never heard of this guy.
Yeah, pretty sure. I mean, I was looking at highlights the other day. And I saw that he had hit his first home run. It was like a thing. So I think he's new to their system.
29. So yeah, he's played 5 seasons, 184 plate appearances, 167 at bats. Shout out to him. I guess he's had 51 plate appearances already this year.
There you go. Yeah.
He's been around a whole bunch of teams like that. So
right.
Definitely a fill-in, but he did hit a homer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Ali Sanchez figures into that mix.
It might work for them right now, you know.
And yeah, Orking, I agree with you. Jeffers just feels right to be a Yankee. Wells is not it. Wells is, he's like, he's one of those players that's like, overrated, underrated. I don't know, but he's not a needle mover, not a guy who, you don't bring in a catcher because you have Wells or Jeffers having a great year offensively. I could see that one too. Between that and Stevenson, if I had to pick one, I would say it depends on which team shows the willingness to sell more between the Twins and the Reds. If the Reds are not trading, all these different players, they hold on to Boutte and Lowe, and then I don't know necessarily if Stevenson goes to the Yankees in time, and if maybe the Twins move Joe Ryan tomorrow after today's start. His first in a little over a week, and at that point, they have no interest in keeping Jeffers any longer either. So those dominoes I think need to fall, with those teams for them to trade the catcher as well, unless the catcher comes as the biggest trade of the deadline so far today. Okay, Diamondbacks, Gosman. Diamondbacks have a chance to compete a little bit. They can go get starting pitching help. The Blue Jays kind of out of it at this point. A lot of people expect them to kind of pack it in and look for next year. The Blue Jays have so much starting pitching, they'll be fine to replenish it next year. They'll get Drew Jones, the son of newly inaugurated Hall of Famer as of this weekend, Andrew Jones.
Yes, sir.
Former top pick, top prospect. But yeah, I think this trade makes sense for both sides. Do you have anything to say about this one?
I think it's smart for Toronto to try to go and get Jones. So, I mean, it's ambitious, and why not? So you can, like you said, if they're packing it in already and they're trying to ramp up for next year, that's might be a solid move.
Absolutely. So. Okay, I really want to see what the right-handed hitting targets are. So, or see who other people have said, because we haven't done as much research as far as I haven't been grinding, thinking, man.
Oh no.
Definitely not. I see the names and I'm like, yeah, but I haven't had one that I've really felt like, oh, I've got to look into this guy and deeper as a Mariner and scout it. So Taylor Ward, a good one. Seiya Suzuki, Spencer Steer is now on the IL, so he's out. Is Seiya Suzuki a possibility? Let us know down in the comments below if you've got the Mariners, right? Who are your top 5 trade targets? Man, yeah, it's tough to. Okay, Central Mariners trade targets who have gone cold, fan cited. We've got Casey Schmidt. He just got injured. He's out for the year, so he's a no. Willie Castro for the Rockies, somebody that people wanted the team to sign in the offseason. I mean, he is cold right now for the Rockies, but yeah, he would be a pretty far backup option. He is a switch hitter.
Right.
I will say switch hitters seem to perform extremely well in our ballpark. From Carlos Santana to Cal Raleigh, even Leo Rivas at times look more comfortable. What do you think?
Man, it's hard to tell. I mean, there's just so many what ifs. I don't have anybody that I'm like, we got to go get him, or that's the guy. I honestly don't have any of that. I still stick with, we have so many pieces, and I wish we were able to create the nucleus and gel it to where we saw the continuity and that we understood it, but we just don't, because we're trying to find who fits. But I think we have the pieces. I don't think we're desperate to find this gem that's just gonna make us pop off. Like I don't believe that at all. I believe we could add some spice. We could put some seasoning on us to make us stronger, of course. But then looking at our options, I just don't. There's no sure shot. There's no sure shot.
It's not like like the entire season. Jeff Passan's been saying what the Mariners need is for their own guys to be better.
Yeah. Boom. I love that guy.
I mean, it's as simple as this, right? Last night against the Dodgers, you did what you had to do to win the game, and it is a little bit of a worrying recipe for a way to win the game, right? When you have to have 4 guys homer, 1 guy homer twice. You need all your stars to have amazing, performances offensively to beat the Dodgers, right? It's like, well, if that doesn't happen, are we down and out, right? That's the biggest question for tonight. And you beat the Dodgers without out homering them, without hitting the most homers you have all season long. So,
right. I think we'll be able to find out that answer tonight, because unless you replicate, you're going against the same team with the same guys, so you can literally, it's a test. It's literally a trial test tonight. We can literally find out if that's what it's going to take or what it's not going to take. But yeah, I don't think we have to. I don't think we have to perform with the bombs. We just have to gel and hit the ball. We have base runners. We steal. We know how to steal. We get on. We just don't bring them in like we should, right? And ideally, yes. But I mean, that's just the game of baseball. Like hitting the ball, putting it in play. That's how you walk and clap hands and say we put in grade A. You know what I mean? So as long as we can get up there and everybody can hit the ball, and you can make these guys beat us with their players, that's all we have to do. Personally, yeah, we don't want to be looking for long ball magic. We just want Mariner magic. Just straight play the game, small ball, and get them dubs.
Absolutely. So here's something I want to look at right now. Stat of the week, which I've been meaning to do this stat of the week for a long time. I got to score over 3 runs, absolutely. So how do we do it? So I think one of the stats of the week that I wanted to do like the hitting zones, right? Show you what those like, right? We're on Rob Rep Center's Savant over here, and these tell a whole lot of a story, but you got to start with this, and you got to start like it looks like a Sudoku thing. And okay, suppose you divide strikes into 9 sections. Which section is the most difficult to get a base hit? Orking, you say 1. Good answer. And I would ask you why. And I have a guess as to what you're going to say, but I'd be curious as to what you're going to say before we, everybody take their stab. 1 or 9. Good. I like exactly your thought process there. Don, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm going 1937. Because those are the spots. Yeah, those are the spots where you're stressing the most. You're either jamming somebody high inside or low inside. Those are where guys have to have the quickest hands. Where you're compensating. You're not just hitting. I think 258. You're kind of just hitting there.
Right. So the answer, right? It really is different, obviously, depending on if you're a right-handed or left-handed hitter. Like,
for sure.
Hitter. Okay, 9. That is the backdoor slider, and that's where like they throw it there, right? between there and then a little bit off the plate or a little bit down, it's
Yep, you
harder.
chase that.
And you have less room for error, right? If it's 5, they can miss, and it's in one of these other ones, right?
Right.
So maybe you throw 8 in there, yeah. And what these people on Reddit say depends on where you're hitting, which on the pitchers throwing from. Funny Mariners, right? At the type of pitch, right? Fastball high and in, one of the hardest pitches to hit because you basically have to crumple your arms up, as long as your arms are, right? If the pitch is right here, this is not a natural position for a human being. I mean,
not at all.
You got to be Rafael Devers, you got to be Cal Raleigh to have that type of success there. So when you look at that, right, really the difference is it's different for every single hitter based on their body type. Are they 6 foot like Ellie De La Cruz? Are they 5'11" like Rob Refsnyder? But one constant, like you say, right, the one. Baseball easily the hardest sport, golf up there. Exactly. And this actually applies to golf too. The swinging, right? And exactly very goes hand in hand. So Rob Refsnyder, look at that. Not as many people surprised, but pitch percentage, okay. He's getting pretty even, okay, but they're going inside, right? They're trying to just go right in on him. He's a little bit of an older guy, that makes sense. Then swing percentage by zone. So, he swings in the middle of the plate, obviously, swings out there, but it's that 9, right? This is that 9 spot that we were talking about, right? And that's the backdoor slider. So he only swings half the time when he sees the backdoor slider. Now, 43%, I didn't even notice this, and now I'm like, whoa, up and away, fastball, 43%, he's swinging at it. So obviously you want to swing at it, when it's in there, and that's when it's in the zone. That's not when it's, up and around the zone, right? You might have thought it was, stuff on the edge, but 43%, so that tells us quite a story there. Then, strikeout percentage. So he doesn't strike out too much on these low pitches right here. He strikes out on these high pitches. He hasn't been on time with the fastball. The up and in has been okay with him, and it really, maybe that's the fact that he's, a little bit shorter, stockier. He's able to get to those as opposed to, these, like the lankier guys sometimes can get to these, right? Because, it just matches up better with their body type. Then, the whiff, so this is just, did he strike out on the pitch, in that spot? This is, did he swing and miss at the pitch in that spot? He's doing very, very well at not swinging and missing in the bottom half of the zone. It's been the top of the zone. So this is a reason, this tells us a lot. And we've only gone through this per throw. There's 30 of these things, every single hitter. And what's awesome about this is that now I go to last night's game and let's go look at the pitches that Rob Refsnyder hit last night. He had his 2 extra base hits, best game of the season. And if I want to go batters, zone, and I want to go back to Rob Refsnyder. The first one, Robleski, strikeout swinging, 7 pitches. He sees quite a few on that bottom inside corner. Okay, that's where he's been good, but Robleski's like, I'm going to dare you where you're good, and you're not going to hit it still. You're Rob Refsnyder in 2026. Look at your stats. Look at me. I'm an all-star. It might have been what was going through his head, or might not. Then here's the second at bat versus Robleski, 8 pitches. So 7 pitch and 8 pitch at bat for Refsnyder. And what's awesome to see about this, I show the zone. He gets those up and in pitches. Let's go look at the pitch chart. The pitch number 8. Look at where that is. That is above the zone. So he's been swinging and missing at the high fastballs in the zone. He goes and hits one out above the zone. Hopefully that means, in theory, in the zone, you're going to be seeing it better too and making contact better too. You see what I'm saying, Don? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It makes sense to me. Also, the variable could have been that it was high out of the zone but falling into the zone, right? And he caught it, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, I see what you're saying.
I see that too. Yeah. So, that's where it ends up. He hits it out. Then we go to the next at bat. This was a 4-seam fastball that he does it on. and then another strikeout, swinging 3 pitches is what it is. So he strikes out nearly the same pitch, four-seam fastball up above the middle of the zone.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, if you strike out half the time, hit a homer half the time, still a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Then his last at bat, his double, four-seam fastball, middle of the zone.
Yeah.
And
Good work.
Is that you've been swinging at those four-seam fastballs, right? You got one over on us at the homer, but you struck out 2. So we're going to go right back to it, four-seam fastball up. And then we're going to go way down with the slider, then four-seam fastball up. Then we think we can tempt you in the middle of the zone right here.
Right.
And when you look at what his, what he was bad at, that's exactly what it would tell you to do. But that's not how it went.
I think the count would have told him that probably you got to put one in there too. He's down on the count.
That's right.
So he tried to sneak that steamer in there. Did not work.
We go back, right? We see the whiff percentage is way worse in that zone than any. So hopefully, the whiff problems are turning a corner for Rob Refsnyder. He did swing and did strike out on some of those pitches, but he comes back off the IL, sees them for the first time in Dodger Stadium, and does what he does. Then you look at home runs by zone. There's only one apiece, so this is hard to do with just that tiny bit of data. Hard to look too deep into that. A walk percentage obviously is going to be a no, because it's like not walking in the zone, but it looks like a lot of his walks are coming when he gets those backdoor sliders as well. So it's the swing decision. Maybe he takes these pitches. Sometimes he ends up he doesn't whiff in that zone quite as much either, or in that 9 spot, but he does strike out. So that tells me that he's not whiffing, he's striking out there, and he's walking there. He's just taking those pitches, right? They're in that part, and he's hoping that that he walks and doesn't strike out. Which lines up with something that quite a few things that I've seen, like that I recall, quite a few at bats of his that I've seen this season. What do you think? Do you think, Don, as we don't use these these zone maps that much, what kind of value do you see these bringing right now that you haven't been able to research before?
Yeah, I mean, it just shows that the tech in the dugout is way up. It's great that ball clubs can have tablets or Microsoft pads or whatever they got in there, and they can look at this. Pitchers can look at what they're doing and what's happening in real time. It changes the game. It definitely brings that analytic piece in there. You know what I'm saying? To pair it with the feeling and the human side. So no, it's great. Like, data is data. You know what I'm saying? So if you can see your trends and you can see where you can change up and do better, that's awesome. Now, some people use this and they live and die by it. I mean, I don't know if that's the move, but I think it's a great tool to better understand, hitting patterns and things like that. Especially for a hitter, at least you can see what you're doing consistently, pattern-wise. So you'd be like, okay, let me look for this.
I think that's the important thing, is that, like you said, right, you really can't base everything off of this, but it also gives you more data than you could ever imagine. So the thing that will happen, right, is when you're watching the game, you'll think, oh, I wish there was, like, how could I see the data to see, all the patterns that I'm seeing, right, and all these different at-bats that are disconnected. And then when you go back, and it's, you're like, man, I remember this stuff during the game. You just, it's something where it's one of those things like, where would I even go to look at this? This
right.
is kind of the place to go, if you want to. And like you see me doing, right? I'm not taking these and saying, oh, he's bad here, he's good here.
Right.
And I'm, I mean, there's so many of these, right, that you compare what he does in each of these different, these different pockets, and then and then you compare that with the recent results, of actually the context in the game. And then you compare that with your eye test, and then you say, oh, what we're seeing on, what we're seeing on film and what we're seeing on the data actually matches up. And now our hypothesis is much easier to explain because of that. So that's the type of thing that, like, when we talk about the hitters, all these right-handed hitters in the trade deadline, this is like where honestly we should be starting. Can we go find? So what if now go search. This is now Baseball Savant search queries are tough to use for a lot of people, and this is you can't like go in here and expect that you're going to know everything right away. You basically just have to start guessing, but you can get results of pitches. I mean, this is a supercomputer right here. This is like a super AI type thing.
Right.
What we want to look at is regular season. What I'm going to be looking for is batters, right-handed, who. Don, you see what I'm saying? I want to look for right-handed batters.
Yeah, I see you.
Don't, or that like zones.
There we go.
Okay, so which pitches are we trying to hit? Oh, and here's even another good idea I have while we do this. We just hit an hour. Drop a like on the stream if you're in here.
Hey.
So on here, let's look at what the team overall has problems with. Okay, so Mariners overall pitch percentage, that's not what we want. We want WOBA. This is pretty good.
Yeah.
We could even go like X WOBA. And so we see all these. I mean, Connor, Joe, man, you've got guys who haven't been on the team in a little bit, right? Reminding you, everybody's contributed. The X WOBA. Let's go look at like the right-handed hitters. So Rob Refsnyder, obviously got these poor X WOBAs. Julio got certain zones he's good at. This is kind of what the Mariners look at, and it's like, okay, where's the missing piece? Right.
Right.
Again, it does just look like a whole bunch of stuff. So we really gotta, allow ourselves to be wrong. We're allowed to be wrong. Just take a shot at Ryan Bliss, who we're going to want to talk about in the coming weeks. We think he can be, as on this podcast, we are believers in Bliss. Obviously, got him during the season and stuff, but it's also we want we want to see, can he factor into these right-handed hitting problems?
Right.
Very limited sample size here. It doesn't even have results.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
So, the X-Wobo, it's kind of tough to see because everybody's got some good zones, everybody's got some bad zones. What I want is like a team zone. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, like kind of how the StatCast shows like all the balls that were hit. It would be cool to see like all their collective, their zone. Maybe that's something we got to create. If they don't got it, we gotta bring it to light.
It's something like that. So what I want to look at here, we're gonna move over to the Fangraphs search query.
Yeah.
Okay.
Query.
Hey. And so all teams. Let's just go look at like the basic, some of the basic stuff. Standard, advanced.
What's batted ball? Is that a good one?
Yeah, this is like
it's decent. Yeah,
batting average on balls in play. That's mainly a luck factors. Like if you put the ball in play, you're not necessarily more likely to have a higher batting average, or like every ball you put in play, right, has a certain amount of, being a hit. Expected batting average. But batting average on balls in play, Mariners are actually last, so that would tell you that the Mariners have been unlucky with the balls they've hit. But
we just also don't put the ball in play a lot.
Well,
so I kind of hate. We don't.
Yeah, that is what you'd want to know. And then for that, right, you go look at the strikeout percentage, which in strikeout percentage, we're definitely striking out plenty.
Yeah.
Walks per strikeouts, right? We are 21st walks per strikeout. So, Milwaukee, like again, if you talk about the teams that are set up the best, the most modern, right, that are playing the best, Milwaukee, Chicago, Dodgers, Rays, these teams are all the best teams. Basically, the top.
Yeah, I see him.
Washington, best offense in baseball this year. Batting average, Mariners second to last in the league, 231, 230. So that changed last night, right?
Yeah, we got a good lift last night.
Last in batting average when we fired Bobby Magallanes last week, which we haven't discussed a whole lot on here. I discussed it on a post game briefly, but shout out to Bobby Mags. I thought he had some of the best interviews I've ever seen for a hitting coach and for a coach. But I do get a sense that he was kind of the keep everybody in check guy and stuff. And I don't know. I do feel like he was. It's hard to say from outside the organization,
right?
How he's contributing to offensive struggles and stuff. I don't think that was a big fix, as most people don't. But I really did like Bobby Magallanes, and I have to think they, I know they did too. So I have to think it was really some difference that they couldn't reconcile. It wasn't we're going to get rid of this guy,
right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would definitely hope that's not what it was.
And then, the Mariners, such a power-dependent team, isolated power. This is slugging minus average. So how much just are you hitting for power, not just hitting for contact? Mariners, 23rd. So I mean, you're going to be last in a lot of these.
Yeah, and we rely on it. We're still low. That's tough.
Yeah, and then speed, right? You think the Mariners have some fast players, not a speedy team overall. 24th speed rating. They've got that we already looked at. And these, I mean, we know based on looking at all these other ones, the Mariners are going to be really low in these too. The actual quote unquote advanced metrics.
Right.
Now, the batted ball stuff, right? The Mariners are last in BABIP. So ground ball to fly ball. Mariners 18th, hitting too many ground balls. Line drive. This is not going to be the. Yeah. Oh, so we're actually hitting tons of line drives. 21%.
Yeah. Hitting right at somebody though, that's tough.
Which the other tough thing about this is that do you know what pull air rate is?
No.
Okay, that's the stat of the week at some point for sure, because this has been dominating baseball the last couple of years. What Cal Raleigh did last year that you could see in his stats, it was that, he's, the swings are pretty, he's generating power, but he's always done those things. The difference was that his pull air rate was astronomical, and that made him hit so many more homers. He was pulling the ball in the air more, which is the result in a lower batting average. But when you get 60 home runs, right, you are finding a way forward in this sport that nobody else has found. The home run to fly ball rate thing just hasn't been there. And so here's the home run to fly ball rate, but we'll look at the pull air rate. So home run to fly ball rate, Mariners are actually 10th. When they do put the ball in the air, this isn't the pull air rate is how often when you pull it, do you hit it in the air? When when you're hitting the ball to your side of the field, pulling the ball, how often do you hit it in the air? This is out of the fly balls that you hit, how many are home runs? The Mariners, my hypothesis here, is that the Mariners are still trying, that these are accidental fly balls. That they're not pulling the ball in the air enough, and that a lot of these are accidental fly balls. Now, I think the reason that the pull air rate has gone down, or the pull air rate thing isn't working anymore. When you watch Cal Raleigh, the main problem to me is that he's just missed on pitches, 20 or 30 pitches that would have been homers this year. And that you would be on pace for 50, 60 homers again. And his batting average would be way higher. And a lot of the other problems would sort themselves out, right? But I think that because they haven't connected on enough of those ones that would have been pulled fly balls in the air, that their fly balls are actually overwhelmed by a whole bunch of pop-ups. Does that make sense?
That does.
That the data fly balls isn't filled with enough pulled fly balls.
Right.
And it's filled with pop-ups. And that also is why the line drive rate is up, because they're hitting line drives when they're trying to, maybe pull it, in the air. They're not doing that much. And even if the pull air rate is maybe the specific thing that's broken, and they have been hitting line drives about the same amount, then those line drives, right, aren't broken. Whereas the fly balls are broken, and that's what kind of skews the data.
I can see that.
I know.
Yeah, I'm following you.
Hypothesizing as we look at some.
Yeah, but I see what you're putting there.
Right. So pull percentage. Let's see. Mariners do pull the ball a lot. That's good. So somebody that could go to the opposite field might be, a nice plus, but that's always the case. Reminds me of Cole Young, been ripping it lately, but straight to fielders. Absolutely. That's how it feels for Cole Young a lot of the time. And I'm willing to bet there's a lot more batting average in that bat over the next several years, but I guess he's still 22. So that's, if Cole Young's problem at 22 is that, great signs for the future, but based on this year, yeah, that's, hopefully, in the next 2 months, he just gets a little bit of that batted ball luck that clearly the Mariners haven't had being last in habit. Win probability, this isn't a specific offensive stat. Value plus stats. This is there's the stats like WRC plus and OPS plus. Yeah, so this is basically making that out of every other stat. So Mariners, in terms of walking, they're 2% below average on walking, 98. The K percent plus is a 103. So they're a little bit above average in not striking out, surprisingly. In average plus, their average is 4% worse than, and I think this is park adjusted too, which is why Mariners move up ahead of a bunch of these other teams who they have lower batting averages than. This ISO. Where are the Mariners? 20th. Okay, so they're just below average, basically, right below average. It's hard to be way below average in these stats, but they're very, very middling, right? 1% of average in WRC plus, with one of the most talented offenses in the league. Getting around to the stuff that we can actually go sort some batters and try to figure some stuff out with.
Right.
But I want to explore this because I want you guys to understand how inexact of science this is. And I know, there's the whole, they've got the entire scouting department and stuff, but
right.
Basically, I think the best answer is still going to be, for own guys to be better. Cal, Julio, Naylor, Homer today, Refsnyder's going to be back in the lineup.
Right. I think we're blessed, man. We're blessed enough to have, Jerry making those moves and getting those pieces that we have, even when he was doubted, even when it was like, oh man, we're doing the worst things. Look where we are. So yeah, seeing that we're so in the middle or just below, it really is a testament to that we do just have to lock in. If our guys lock in, small adjustments, it seems, and start seeing the ball better, like Cal, he's connecting with those 20 he hasn't, or, Cole hitting 2% to the right of guys, you know what I mean? That's all we need. I'm just passionate. Sorry.
No, you're exactly right.
Yeah. I just feel like that's where we're at, man. We're doing this. We're just, we're just getting the compass. We don't really need new guys. We don't need a bunch of new blood. We just need our guys to do this or that, see the ball a little better, love on each other a little more out there on the diamond, feel it, get that cohesion, bro. We're right there. We're right there to doing it.
So my idea, right? The one idea that I've came up with that wasn't just, right-handed hitter, but I don't know. It was switch hitter. So just for fun, we're going to look at some switch hitters. There are only 15 qualified switch hitters. So only 15 really truly everyday switch hitters in the this year. Every single one's got a positive WAR. Obviously, to be an everyday player, you got to be somewhat above replacement anyway. But
right.
Keep going down the qualified list, right, and say, okay, who has, who can the Mariners, get out of these switch hitters? Maybe go below qualified, right? So let's go with nothing, right? So there's 77 total switchers in the MLB this season. This first page, games we're sorting it by. What if we sort it by the Mariners don't need ISO power,
Right.
don't necessarily strike out, walk. Well, that's a good thing. Now, Yvonne Johnson, who is this? He's barely played.
Yeah, not many games played.
Andy Rodriguez, Pittsburgh is contending, so they're not going to be trading away.
Right.
Luis Lara, he's a
Brewers.
massive prospect for the Brewers, who's
Yeah.
they gave a huge contract to. Perdomo, All-Star. Perdomo, you can't really fit him in at shortstop either.
Nope.
Ian Happ, I've seen, kind of as a possibility for the Mariners at certain points, but
Cubs love him though.
But man, 31% strikeout. Woof.
Ooh, that's a woofer. Yeah, you can stay where you're at.
Park, it's gonna be Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof.
Yeah, he can stay where he's at. Chi-Town loves him anyway. They can have him.
Man, Yoan Moncada, a super talented guy who was once marketed as the next Robinson Cano. Never figured it out. Again, 13% walk, 34.6% strikeout in T-Mobile Park. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah. No, we can't have that.
It's all love, Yoan Moncada, but I was really upset when I was young. I was I was 17. I was at spring training, and he went down the line and signed every kid's ball except for mine.
Oh,
it was greasy. I was like, Moncada. I had my ball right here, and he just kept passing over me. I kept getting back in line. He kept,
I've seen it. Yeah.
And that was I was 17, and all the other kids there were teenagers. So it's not like that was one of my last autographs, that I was trying to get. And,
I got you.
Yeah, so I've always had a little bit of a man, I always remember that with Yoan Moncada. Wish him the best, but yeah, he definitely hasn't lived up to his tools. Rivas.
Leo, our boy.
Where can we take this guy from?
Yeah, man, that's my dog, though. Leo.
Yeah. So, obviously, Leo Rivas here, it's that's the type of guys you're looking at, then come up. Nick Sogard just took over for Curtis Mead in Boston. He's not going to be going anywhere. He's also not anybody to acquire. Jonathan Clase, former Mariners prospect. This is actually a weird one because now I'm looking at this 32% strikeout rate. The organization did have him before, and
they did.
The Blue Jays could be sellers. He's only played in 9 games this year. I don't know how bad the Blue Jays need him.
Right. We had a lot of love for him here too.
And the question is, how do we okay, we're gonna play the game.
Yeah.
Leo Rivas or Jonathan Clase?
I gotta go with Rivas, bro. I gotta go with Rivas.
Well, then that's pointless. We're not doing Clase. Well, we've got a guy that's better than him, apparently.
That's true.
Not using. That's just a name to throw out there.
Yeah.
A whole lot of all-stars, guys that have a lot of value. Taylor Ward. Oh, right. Taylor Walls.
Walls.
Young guy. Not getting traded. Leody Taveras cut last season.
Yeah, we got rid of him. We don't bring him back, do we?
Going to be selling. Is Leody Taveras really do the Mariners? Obviously, you're probably not giving up, but
But does it move the needle, like you said? Does he move the needle?
I'm willing to go ahead and say no.
I am too. We had him and we saw him. We saw him.
Not because of the blue. It's because we had him. We saw him. And if you didn't think the skill set was there at that point, then
there you go.
I don't see anything so different now that you'd make any different decision.
Right.
More switch hitters. We'll look at through. Brennan Valenzuela is this guy. I think he's a catcher. Yeah, and he's 25 years old, and Kirk is now not playing every day, so that one.
He's stuck. Yeah, he's stuck there.
So you look down this. Basically, nobody the Mariners can get.
Nah, not that I see.
For sense.
Jorge.
Jorge, man, and now he's playing
Polanco.
more because Juan Soto is hurt for several weeks.
Right.
Wenzel Perez, I'm just, he doesn't strike out too much.
Hey, yeah, it looks good. Looks good. He's over there in Detroit getting reps, but man,
see, he's 26 years old. He doesn't. Yeah, his baseball savant page honestly looks like Rob Refsnyder. Doesn't whip, strike out.
right.
Switch hitter, 26 years old. The thing that's probably going to end this one is the contract.
Mm.
He's under club control, right? Oh no, he's on a 1-year deal. He's pre-arbitration. He's got he's not a free agent until 2021. So a lot of club control. He's going to cost more than the Mariners want. They're not going to want to give up, real farm talent. At this point now, I'm like, well, what about Michael Arroyo? Somebody said it in the chat earlier. Michael Arroyo looks just as good as any of these other guys. You don't know what he's going to be. He has much higher potential and much better chance of reaching that potential. I'd much rather gamble on the unknown, who has come through the Mariners system and is showing everything.
You got Arroyo, you got Montez. Like I don't know. I feel like we have mad pieces.
And yes, the young guys are not going to come up, and you do not want to bet on the young guys coming up and helping you right away, because the most likely scenario, talked about Ace Reese earlier, the most likely scenario, just like I said for Colt Emerson earlier in the year, is that he comes up and he struggles for at least a month, and you either send him back down or you keep him going. And right now, in this point of the season, right, when the Mariners called up Colt in May, it was like, okay, you can deal with this for a month, whether it's good, bad, whatever. You need it. But to call up a rookie down the stretch, a guy who's straight out of college, even if it's the number one prospect with all the best stuff in baseball, they're most likely going to struggle out of the gate. You know what I mean?
That's expected. You're expected.
Well, and if you do that, like, you could be doing damage. You could do Jared Kelenic things to a player when you bring him up when they're not ready. And again, Jared Kelenic was the number 3 prospect in all of baseball when he came up. Ace Reese just got drafted. So this goes to Michael Arroyo as well. He's hitting 350 at AAA and so that's why he gets the chance. And he's also been in the system for many years. Was a plan and he was part of the plan in 2026 already. That's a guy who makes sense right now to bring up.
21 years old. He's still young.
You do not do that to Laz Montez. That's unfair to Laz Montez. It's unfair to the rest of the Mariners. You do not do that to Ace Reese. It's unfair to the Ace Reese. It's unfair to the rest of the Mariners.
I don't know, man. Jerry DiPoto was quoted saying he might give Montez a look.
Well, of course he's going to say that, because he wants the perception to be good around him. But no, we're not going to spend too much.
I hear you, bro. I hear you. I understand there's some standards in Major League Baseball that people live and breathe by. I got you. So I'll never detest those.
I would love nothing more than for Ace Reese, Laz Montez, Michael Arroyo to come up and really do well. But I don't think it would be fair to them to say, hey, all these all-stars, these guys who might be Hall of Famers, they can't do it. So, kid, now all the pressure, all this toxic culture is now getting pushed onto you. Come fix our culture. Come be a better adult than guys 10 years older than you, right? And come, this is just not the situation. I'd say, if you're – the Mariners have had so many situations in the past where it's like time to bring up the young guy. This was like one of the times where it's like, if you did that, right, that would be such an unfair thing to that young player. Even – that's just even keeping the player, like the Rays. Part of the reason the Rays do so well is because they communicate so well with their players, and players always know their role and they enjoy it, and they that, and that.
There you go.
That is, and that's the thing is that I want that scenario. And the Rays make player-focused decisions. The Rays they do the things best for their players, even saying like they don't just do it, we're going to help the team win, and then everything's about helping the team win, right? You sacrifice helping the team win. They do that, of course, right? You watch the games, you see them do that more than anybody else. However, they come up and they know, hey, the Rays are not going to put you in a position to hurt yourself.
Mhm.
And Mariners, I do not want the Mariners to be. I mean, for a long time that's been the case. Before Dustin Ackley days, right? That was the case. The Mariners put players in positions and say, look, we're not going to give you like all the structure. We can't guarantee anything for you, but go and try to fix our problem. The Rays, they say, hey, we have an organization. We know what we do here. We know what you do here, and we know your value. We're going to make the best decisions for you, and that is going to make the best decisions for us.
For sure, but I think you hit it on the head. It's the culture. Now, if your culture is communicative, and you give young guys a chance in certain situations that foster growth, and it isn't a space where they're put in a position to fix the team, and then they don't perform as a young guy, and they fall down low again, and you kind of reprimand, then no, you never want to do that. And yeah, I think the Mariners are culprits of definitely having that happen. The up and down. Also, I think guys die on the vine in our thing, but we won't go there. But yeah, I think it's if your culture is communicative and you understand your role, I think you can introduce players as early as you feel adequately with preserving, their tenure. So it's like, we're putting you here, like we know what you're doing, like you said, the Braves, we know what we have, we know what we're doing, so we're going to do this for you, give you a shot. It doesn't, you're not on a plank. You're not getting in here to solve our season, right? So yeah, that would kind of be, I think, what the culture would see if we put young guys in the position right now to pull up and do that. But if we had a different, culture, I think there's a place for young guys to show up in these times and not be burned at the stake, right? They get an introduction, to the game. But you said it. It's the culture. Like, if you're not on that and you haven't been on that forever, now's not the time.
Okay, because this is an interesting hypothetical I got for you. I'm going to ask. Laz Montes comes up for the Mariners today before the game,
right.
7:10 p.m. Los Angeles. He starts, pinch hits, whatever, right? But he comes into the game, 9th inning, Mariners versus Dodgers. Laz Montes strikes out.
Mm-hmm.
What is the reaction in the clubhouse? What is the reaction among the Mariners fan base? Where does the narrative go?
So I would say in the best world, in the world that gardens the kid, young kid, big situation, already has a high strikeout rate in AAA, or AA, because he hasn't been AAA too long, did what we thought he might do. Perfect world. That's what I think the analyzation is. Clubhouse, young guy got a shot, pick your head up, dog, next game. Because that's what baseball is, right? Due to our culture, Seattle culture, get him off the team, sell him, he's trash. That's what they'll do, because moments heighten, and then people zero in and they forget about who's there. They forget about he's a young guy. He just got called up. It's his first major league game. Those things fall to the wayside in Seattle. I'm not trying to hate on us, but yeah, we don't, the bigger picture gets lost. I think the bigger picture normally gets lost though, right? So yeah, media, marketing, all that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll probably burn him, which would be horrible, but realistically, it should be, this is our young prospect. He's hitting bombs. He's dogging in AA. He's also still balling in AAA. I think at 220 right now. It's not crazy. We just pulled him up to Tacoma. But yeah, I mean, that's a decent story. I think that's a way to give somebody some chops. But yeah, realistically, yeah, the Wolves would come for him, and I get that.
Now in the clubhouse, I agree with you. The players are going to pick him up. But here's the other thing. What do those players think to themselves? Because that at bat is taking away from somebody else. Laz Montes is a left-handed outfielder. I actually kind of forgot that for a second. So that means that if you call up Laz Montes, you are either getting Luke Raley off the roster, Dominic Canzone, who's the best hitter in the team right now, best player on. it means you're pinch hitting Randy Arozarena,
or whoever we're DHing.
Dom Canzone, Luke Raley.
I could get rid of Luke Raley for a
Wally.
shot at Montez. I'd sit Raley for one day to see Montez.
You couldn't do it for one day. You'd have, to make the roster's space work. You'd have to basically make the decision. You can't just like move like Luke Raley. You can't send him down. You can't do anything. He's been out of options the whole year.
So you can't sit the bench.
Well, then you'd have to like who else are you going to get rid of on the roster?
Right. I mean, we'd have to look at it. You'd have to really look at it.
Yeah. So let's pull up the roster. So
yeah,
because when I look at the roster, I see. Hold on here. Roster resource. There we go. So this is what I'm looking at, and I'm saying which one of these players comes off the team for Montez, and which one of these.
But you say off the team, so you're saying somebody has to legitimately leave the team.
Well, because
to pull him up to play him in a game.
I say that because Luke Raley, you don't have any options. You can't unless he's injured, right? He's going to be on the roster, or you have to DFA it. You have to basically waive him. Mm-hmm. Same thing goes for Mitch Garver. Same thing goes for Weston Wilson. Same thing goes for Rob Refsnyder. Same thing goes for Victor Robles. You can't send down any of them. Now, the other players, obviously, we're not getting rid of Cole Young, Julio, Canzone, Rosarena, Naylor, Raleigh.
Weston Wilson. That's the first guy I would be like, he's possible.
He's been playing way too good. He's literally, and he's also the only third baseman not named J.P. Crawford.
We have like 9, bro. We have 9 third basemen. We could throw somebody up the third.
What are the third basemen do we? All those guys.
I mean, yeah, we just have a bunch of guys who could play it.
Will Wilson is hurt. We just got rid of Buddy Kennedy. Raley is not part of it. Crawford, Rivas isn't even good enough, to be on the team right now. Mastroboni is out of the organization, and Bliss doesn't play third base.
No, but J.P. Crawford does.
So he's the only one out of those 7. So, and again, Weston Wilson has been. I have my J.P. Crawford player tee right here.
Hey.
Can say, I'm as big of a J.P. Crawford fan as anybody. I've worn this thing. It's worn all out.
For sure.
Weston Wilson's a better player right now than J.P. Crawford. And he's going to start tonight. He started last night against a lefty. He's going to start tonight against a lefty. That's your starter. J.P. Crawford only came into the lineup because Colt Emerson couldn't go. And even if, right now, J.P. Crawford, like the best justification you could say is, obviously he's on the roster. I'm not questioning his spot on the roster, because obviously I wouldn't send him down, J.P. Crawford, the captain, and bring up a 21-year-old, who doesn't even fit our needs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling it, to question the spot that, the fact that, you're going up against left-hander, you got Weston Wilson. You basically, you really don't have the flexibility.
I see what you're saying.
And so this is kind of the gist of what I'm saying is that the roster doesn't, actually, that's not even it. The roster doesn't make sense, I don't think, for, any of, for Las Montez. So Michael Arroyo, I started with Las Montez because that's the case that I think, no way, to me, that's like, no way, Jose, because that kid would be put in a completely overwhelmed spot. There's a very low likelihood, that he succeeds any more than Luke Raley, who's had, all this experience doing this. It's almost been an all-star. He's been great for the Mariners. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying somewhat. I still I don't know. I'm a fighter on letting some things be new and ride. And like you just said, like Luke Raley doesn't have that much success. So, then it's like, okay, well, what's wrong with Montez trying? I'm not dying on the hill. I'm not dying on the hill now. I know he's young. I know you need development. I know guys get down and get discouraged. Now, this is obviously very hypothetical. But me being a type of player, you know what I'm saying, and not living by most of the standards that I'm sure the league and everybody does. Yeah, I mean, there's just certain situations where I think on it now that we've gone through it and tried to see who we could shuffle and who could move. That makes it the understanding more realistic. Like, we just don't have the room to bring homie up and let him try just to try. You know what I'm saying? Because it'll fuck things up. It'll mess things up. So I get that 100%. I personally think that our culture should just start to show some guys. I'm not saying Montez. I'm not saying Arroyo, but some guys, the show a little sooner, without they're being burned at the stake, right? Because they're a young guy coming up. You know, there's just a lot of. But that's the game, and I get it. I just have a lot of things that I fight against. Like, sometimes you just got to go up there and see what it's like, and you get dogged and dragged one time. It's one game. You'll come back. I don't think that means you're burnt. You know what I mean? So I understand, though. Trust me, I'm not trying to tell you this is the right way. I understand that it's a tough toss up, and even trying to shuffle him right here, it's like, what are you going to do? Also, I think it's a testament to say we have guys, we have ball players, so we just got to figure it out with who we have.
I see what you're saying. What I wanted to do, since we're on Laz Montez, we might as well actually, discuss the player himself. So,
yeah, let's do it.
Here's the player himself. Here's what MLB Pipeline, the scouts say about him, right? We're not going to look at too many of the stats because they're obviously extremely streaky across the minor leagues. Still learning. But Montez, right, signed in 2022. The scouts say his ETA is 2027. They think he'll be in the big leagues at some point in 2027. So they say 26, very, unlikely. Now,
but next year, likely. Yeah.
Right. Now, 20 to 80 scale, 50 is average, right? 80 is Shohei Ohtani. 50, so average hit tool. Power is 65. It's somewhere between average and Shohei Ohtani. That's really, you don't know exactly where it is. It's going to end up, right? But he's 6'5", he's a big dude, lefty.
It's a fact.
The run is 35, so he's not fast. He can't be a pinch runner off the bench. To me, that says like he's got to be in the lineup, right? He's going to be. He's a starting outfielder or DH.
Or a DH, yeah, straight up. Yeah.
I've even heard about him taking reps at first base, like this offseason. I heard Baseball America talk about it, but I'm not quite sure. But obviously, we haven't seen any of that, so that's
right.
And Naylor's there, so. The arm is 50, average arm, and the field is 40, overall 55. Really, it's the power is the only tool that's above average, and then, the hit in the arm. Being a big guy, you expect at least that average arm, and then the hit, being, 50. And he's only 21, right? But these are the tools that, that he has right now. 2022 international signing period. 7-point building winning lineup. Michael Arroyo signed that year, and so did Montez. Finished. So 2024, he was in Everett. 2025 moves to Arkansas last year, and now he's in AAA in 2026. Montez allows tool, top of the scale raw power from the left side of the plate, continuing to learn how to get that pop consistently in games. This is the biggest thing, right? Until he's like for sure pop consistently AAA. That, which is why that's why Arroyo, should, has even the argument to come up now because he's ripping AAA apart. Outstanding bat speed, plenty of loft and swing, drive the ball in the air, regularly registers elite level exit velocity. Tough swing and miss to his game, always be strikeouts, but he also draws walks. 14.4 is, very good, whatever level that is. Learning to find better pitches. He models his game after Yordan Alvarez. It'll be his bat that gets into the big leagues. Below average defender who can't run. Beast, whose best shot is the man in outfield corner. Risk is getting a lot of at bats as a DH. Tech organizational ladder. Basically, what they're saying, right, is that he's just super raw.
Right.
Tons of power.
He's like a baby Aaron Judge.
Yordan, they say, stuff like
they
that.
Say Yordan. I say Aaron, but Yordan makes sense too.
The lefty with the power, you can see it. Anyway,
And I've seen his arm. I'm sure it'll get better because he's a young cat. But I've seen some of his games, at least the Rainier games I was able to check. Boy is hosing people, hosing you from right. And I'm not talking about hosing slow guys either. Like he's got a lot of power in him. But like you're saying, yeah, I mean, you got to foster it, you got to garden it. You don't want to put the product out there too fast. So I get that. I'm just a dreamer. I'm a dreamer. So next year, yeah, I really hope he gets his due. I'd love to see him come up earlier in the season than late, right? Like, you have to let the young dog see what it's like, and let him get a quick taste. We just gotta do that sooner. We gotta do that sooner for our boys. That's how I feel.
What I kind of forgot what I was gonna say, but he's the next year guy.
For sure.
And really the one that could be a this year guy, Michael Arroyo, we got to talk about him. Not going to play second base, but could play the outfield. Could he somehow we could stick him over at third base and he could figure it out? He's only 5'10", 160.
Yeah.
Very small third baseman across the MLB. I mean,
he's a small outfielder too, though.
Not just Buddy Kennedy, right? You've got he's really small outfielder too.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got not just Buddy Kennedy. I mean, you've got Caleb Durbin's balling out right now. Curtis Mead. This is that type of body type to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, Arroyo, pure hitter. Signed with Las Montes out of Cuba. And he, I believe, is from Colombia.
Hey.
Yeah, so they say Howie Kendrick type block.
Any third base in his arsenal?
They say
just
both
2B?
middle field, second base. It doesn't sound like ideally you could. Right. It doesn't sound like
he hasn't had much
ever.
Practice. Yeah.
Now with the Mariners, they got Cole Young there, so obviously not playing there. But.
Yeah, he's not going to second. That would be wrong in my opinion. You can't take that from Cole.
What you have to do in this scenario, I mean, Weston Wilson's still the DH or still the third baseman. JP, platoon with him, and those two really, I mean, they're both in their 30s. They're both 31, close to 32. So both of them, can kind of handle platoon duties and switch off there. Depending on, you at least have a little bit of depth. Even Colt can slide over there, and you can move someone to short. Bring Ryan Bliss up. Put Arroyo. But if I was to get Arroyo into this lineup, it would be if I was to get Arroyo in this lineup, it would be the DH spot, and you'd have to move Canzone over to right field, and then Luke Raley likely sitting on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, I got you.
Which means that also, Rob Refsnyder becomes more of like a true bench bat and not a and not like a true platoon bat with Canzone. You have a lot of flexibility here though, because the DH Arroyo, you also have obviously Cal will take some days there. Garver can take some days there. Refsnyder can take some days there. Rayleigh can take some days there. In the outfield, right? Randy in left, Julio in center. Then you have a whole lot of depth in right field. Start Canzone in right field. Rob Refsnyder as a right-handed, and Victor Robles both as right-handed.
Hey, Victor.
But platoon options there. The playing time.
What's going on with Victor though? Do we know? Is he healthy?
Yeah, no, he's been good.
Okay.
What's been going on is that Dominic Canzone is playing every single day, and there's less playing time to go around. And when Dominic Canzone has a historic night against left-handed pitching like he does last night, obviously, that's Dominic Canzone playing every day is like what is powering the lineup right now. So
you don't change what's hot.
I mean, look at this. Last 7 days, he's the 5th best hitter in the MLB.
That boy is balling. Yeah, that boy is balling.
Now, and we talk about our own guys needing to be better. Here's a crazy thing. Like before the season started, a lot of we had 5 guys in the top 50 hitters, in the overall rankings. But over the course of the season so far, right, Randy Arozarena is our highest at 49.
Mm,
An
it's tough.
average MLB offense has a top 30 hitter. We don't have
Right.
one top 49 hitter. We've got two top 78 hitters with Julio. We've got three top 94 hitters with Naylor. And then we've got four top 98 hitters with Cole Young. So you have to go four deep. The Mariners have a better four deep in the lineup than average, because average would be 120, four of the top 120. But four of the top
Right.
90, Mariners are so average.
Yeah. Yeah, we are. We're looking average. Them numbers is looking average for sure. But we have the talent that's over.
Now, forget about this stuff, right? Just don't even look at any of this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Cole Young, I think he's really good. I think Julio Rodriguez is really good. I think Canzone's really good. I think Rosarena, Naylor,
Proven. Yeah.
That's like four all-stars and two guys that, could be all-stars.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Raley. Yeah, he was like our best bat in the beginning of the season. JP Crawford, he's been the captain. Cole Emerson was the top. On paper, there's no reason for it to be this bad, to be honest. And it's just the stats are bad. It's not that players have played bad. You have to say that with the stats.
Right.
The process is there. I believe it's going to turn around. And what I see really, in that Dodgers game, it's like the Mariners will out homer teams at some point. They'll do it at some point. Too little, too late. Maybe, but that's why,
that's why you don't want to live on that.
Okay, we've talked for an hour 46. I feel like I've gone through this a lot. We've laid down at least the primer, the preview for the deadline. As to who the Mariners are going to acquire, I don't know. I think I need some more rumors to really.
Right. We'll have to dig, and hopefully the homies in the chats who popped in can throw us some more information, and we can stir up the dust. But yeah, we laid a great foundation. I think we shuffled through. We talked about our farm. We talked about our guys. We didn't go too crazy and do some fantasy mock-ups. We kept it, very realistic and, to the point. I think the overall point that I'm feeling from doing this is that we have the personnel. I just, I believe that we have the personnel to get the job done. Whether we're clicking, whether our culture needs jumper cables and needs electricity, whether we have to find it in the dugout, I don't know. But when we look at those names like you just went through real quick, easy breezy, that guy's nice, that guy's all-star, that guy's this and that, we have it. We just have to find it within us.
I see what you're saying. I agree to an extent. I also, there's a couple of guys I did forget. I just remembered Heliot Ramos. This is a great. This is a good target for the Mariners right now. He's not huge. The strike zone's not the biggest ever, and he hits the ball super duper hard, and he gets good expected stats.
Wow, yeah,
a ton. So you adding strikeouts, but adding some hitting. What do you think of this?
Just looking at his sliders, that's what's up. We definitely want somebody who can put the ball in play, who can get up there and hit. He looks like it. He can run. I don't see anything wrong with Homie right here. How do we acquire him, right? Is San Francisco looking to trade this guy? Right. I guess that's what we're looking at now. They're looking okay.
They're desperate to trade everybody, and this is one of their top pieces, especially with Casey going on the IL. This is like him, maybe Devers, maybe some relievers.
Got you.
Guys to get rid of.
Yeah, man. Looking at him on paper, like we said, he doesn't look terrible. He looks like he's a bat that we could put in there and have him rotate. So why not? And we have some really good things to trade. I just feel like maybe we're overqualified to get this guy. So if we can get him, we should.
What I would say with this guy, something that I just noticed now, I haven't talked about this in a little while, but I've got a comp for you. It's not an exact comp, but it's a pretty interesting one. Jorge Polanco last year he had terrible strikeout rates. He was trying to hit the ball hard. He was getting away from some contact skills that he definitely had in there. And then he came over here, and I gave a whole lot of credit to the hitting hitting coaching staff. Kevin Seitzer, Bobby Magallanes last year, and then Edgar Martinez, because
Yes, sir.
they taught that up the middle approach religiously last year, and Jorge Polanco was the poster child of it, and it worked really well. I'm looking at Heliot Ramos. His spray chart right now, it is very balanced. He's got homers to all fields. He's got singles to all fields, doubles. The up the middle approach and the all fields approach is, I think, what makes me the most excited about Ramos, because I think that Edgar Martinez, Kevin Seitzer, they get that, and I think it fits what they want to teach offensively, and I think you could see that same type of Jorge Polanco level improvement. Now, I want to look at Polanco's sliders from 2024 before he was fixed, and then 2025 after. I think I'm expecting the 2024 Polanco sliders to look somewhat like this, and the 2025 to show us an idea of what we could get after our hitting staff works on him. So Polanco this year, obviously.
Yeah.
Here's Polanco last year, right? You had a lot of power, a lot of chase, a lot of whiff. He did square it up, and he didn't strike out as much. Good swing decisions, I'd say. 2024, okay, so this didn't look like it at all. This doesn't look like it. But he does have that, all fields approach.
Right.
So my hypothesis there, but
but 2025, I mean, yeah, you see it.
Similar build too. And then when I see, obviously he's a switch hitter, so the all fields are, you can't really look at this and compare it to a right-handed hitter. But you look at, the expected stats being good, and then some of the plate discipline stuff being wonky. Compare it to Ramos, and I don't know. Really, it's the all fields approach, with a little bit of the StatCast matching up. What do you think of that?
I think that's a good comparison right there. I mean, if we're looking for somebody that that's going to hit the ball and in a Polanco style, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Jorge really did show us love. Shout out Jorge. He did get fixed, like you said. Shout out to the batting coaches as well. Like, he did get his stuff back online, and he was able to hit those doubles and move ballers around. So if Ramos is that guy, that'd be beautiful, because we loved having Polanco push players around, and he was hitting the long ball. Like, Jorge did his thing. So that'd be nice. I think it's a good comparison. I think it's somebody we could put in to the line. I think we're overqualified to go get this guy. I think we have all the tools in the world to go get him and trade. I think San Francisco's thirsty, so we've got the Gatorade for him if they want it. So I don't think we can't bargain to get this guy. I wonder if he's on our radar like that.
Okay, I've got two more interesting targets, courtesy of a group chat I'm looking at right now. So
word, nice.
Yeah, the first one I want to look at is Joel Peguero. I've heard shout out to Moonlight MLB on Twitter. Go drop him a follow. Great Stoic Mariners content over there. He was using Stoic as a Mariners kind of theme before I even was. So shout out to him. But he pitched Hancock and or Heliot Ramos and Joel Peguero. So Emerson Hancock for those two. Let me know what you guys think of that. Shout out to Moonlight. He's got these great sliders again, right? Throwing 100-mile-an-hour four seam, 99-mile-an-hour sinker, 93. So this is just a stuffed monster. It's an absolute cheese reliever. Sounds good. We don't even have to really analyze. Obviously, we haven't watched this guy or know too.
Right.
Science games. Do you know the name Joel Peguero at all?
No. I've been to a couple, and I didn't get to see him pitch.
Okay. But it looks like he's barely pitched, right? 11 games, 11 third innings. But I see these velocities: 100-mile-an-hour four seam, 99.1 sinker, 93.2 slider. Something to work with. Boy, got heat. Yeah, I think I would do it too. I love Emerson Hancock, but you are operating, out of needs.
That's correct. That is correct.
This is another one. An outfielder for the Marlins has been hitting really well. I actually really like this player, Heriberto Hernandez. And apparently the Marlins are willing to listen to the offers for him. They went on a big win streak, then went on a big losing streak. He's got awesome expected stats. It looks like he's a pretty pull heavy. Now, as a right-handed pull heavy hitter in T-Mobile Park,
Yeah.
we see those guys succeed, right? We see Eugenio Suarez struggle. I mean, all sorts of people, Dan Heriberto Hernandez come here and do differently. I think, again, I would defer to Edgar Martinez,
Right.
because if they see the way that he hits, right, and they appreciate it and they think they can work with it, I think they can get him to, I don't know, get even more even on the spray chart.
Right.
Really got a ton of power. I mean, 92.2 on the average exit velo.
Yeah. He's hitting that ball. That's for sure.
He's even fast, and he has a good arm.
Wow.
He's got good range. He maybe not the most accurate throwing arm or whatever, but
Right.
Cameron and Franklin Gutierrez can work with him on, as the coaches in this organization for the outfield.
For sure.
Now the options we've had from Ramos, Hernandez. Who else did we have? Who else have we looked at?
That was
45 minutes ago, and I obviously
it's been a while. We went through a few. We
talked about pitch hitters. They're probably unlikely, but just want to throw some names out.
Right.
So with Hernandez, Ramos. Okay, if you between those two, let's say you're trading Emerson Hancock, you're getting back a good, a reliever like depth piece. Would you rather have Heriberto Hernandez or Heliot Ramos? And I'm not going to hold you to this.
Right.
Obviously, we're not researching these players in depth, but based on what we know, what we see, the logic and reasoning that we can come up with, how would you rank those two?
Right. I would take Ramos because I liked how you compared him to Polanco and how he was just he already has like an everywhere hitting approach. He seemed like he can put the ball anywhere. This guy might be able to do the same too, but just like, just thinking about that comparison, and I don't know, it struck a chord when you compared him to Polanco for me. Just seeing somebody come up in that position and be able to hit like that. If he can mimic that, that'd be a great piece, to slide in.
Now, I don't know. I want to clarify. I'm not sure that the production will look like Polanco.
For sure.
But I do think
we're just speculating.
Some of the approach stuff, some of the same ways that that you got stuff out of Polanco last year, you can get stuff out of Ramos this year. Hernandez to me is just the more like the skills are honestly more like they haven't been around as long. He's only taken 573 big leagues.
Right.
Not as proven, not as much of a track record, but he's showing very tangible skills right now. And the tape, like if you just watch the two players right now, I almost would rather have Hernandez. Now, the last thing I want to look at, because I know big for hitters, is the Mariners love to look at the chase rate. Like Rob Refsnyder, good at the chase rate. They think they can work on the whip and the strikeouts, right? Mm-hmm. So Hernandez got the 70th percentile chase rate. What did Ramos have?
Let's see.
He's got the 12th percentile chase rate. So it does look now. I even say that, but I'm starting to, I'm questioning myself just a little, because every game recap I do, I talk about that the main strategy right now is for pitchers to pitch out of the zone against the Mariners. But the Mariners also don't swing enough in the zone sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Texas did that to us great. Rucker was destroying us with that slider outside.
Yeah, we're going, of course. Zone swing, 72.6. And then what is it for our boy Hernandez? Zone swing, 72.6. Zone swing, 69%. So pretty similar. Hernandez swings less overall. He chases less out of the zone, but he doesn't swing quite, it swings 3% less in the zone. Ramos swings more overall, but he chases more out of the zone. Mariners in the past, this year and the way they've been doing things, I would say more lens towards Hernandez and the plate discipline metrics. But if they wanted to make a change, right, or if they wanted to say, hey, we really think that swinging in the zone more, we're just not swinging in the zone enough, like that could be a reason for Ramos.
Yeah, I can see that.
Are Hernandez and Ramos the main two guys? If you have any other guys, any other possibilities, put them in the chat. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Any other possibilities? We will be back on Monday doing the entire trade deadline, watching everything fly in. Hopefully, the Mariners, we're sitting here and we've already got our prized new, shiny new toys, but we'll just have to see because
Yep,
we can do. There's three things that we can do, Don.
that's right. Tell them.
As long as you go 1-0 every pitch, stay stoic, and give all glory to God.
Sir.
You can't lose. And that does it for Mariners Trade Deadline Preview on the 1-0 podcast. We will see you guys again on Monday with the covering the live event. We haven't done something like this before, so looking forward to it. Don, anything else before we close out?
No, that was solid, man. It was good to go through it and just talk about some hypotheticals and and speak on the squad and hopefully we can keep our momentum after last night. Great to get that W. We just want to keep it rolling. So yeah, excited for Monday too because I've never really participated in trade deadline stuff or anything like that. Even the draft is still pretty foreign for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be fun.
MLB's got a long way to go with that stuff, and so do we. So we'll see you guys then. Go M's.
Peace.